Hello everybody, I'm going to be a much shorter one today. Just wanted to share an updated deck list and my thoughts going forward into '07 with the Celestial Dragons build. First thing is that the deck list has changed a lot since my last video. It is no longer purely focused on the Celestial Dragons and much more on controlling the early to late game, switching to a stronger Cypher Pole endgame with cards like this Rush Lucci here and Stussy. Another key addition to this deck is this bird that I originally looked over as just another 2k counter. But combo with Stussy on turn 10, you can legitimately make a really big swing turn, or it can just create a must kill card for your opponent, as being able to swing with 2 extra K on your leader every turn with no cost is very strong. And another minor change I've made is adding this Tempest Kick card. Just a very strong card. It helps when your Celestial Dragons either you only have a Charlos on the field, or you don't have any Celestial Dragons, and you need that extra push to land a Meteor Volcano or a Tempest Sky Slicer, or even an I bid 500 million. But not too much change, but I did realize after a little bit more testing that this deck eventually does need to get on the gas. Having 2 swings each turn is just not enough to cut it, especially if you run into like a 10 cost Dofi or cards that can just completely lock down your leader. You need other viable swings that can go for game. But with the new list, how did my first local with it go? Not very well. I lost round 1 to a purple Luffy, which I actually believed was my best matchup going into this tournament. And I also lost last swing to a card that I didn't even know existed, called this card right here, Blast Breath. I didn't even know this card existed, and I lost in the last swing of the game. He had no life. I was swinging 14k, and he countered out with 2 Blast Breaths and two 2Ks, I believe, with 4 cards in hand. It was a ridiculous save, and I didn't see it coming. Round 2, though, I went up against a really cool Yamato list that was playing Skypiea cards and Wano cards with the Skypiea stage and some just all-around really cool tech cards. I ended up taking that game. I think this deck does handle, like, off-meta decks very well. I think Land of Wano, purely focused Yamato, beats this deck wholeheartedly, but that deck may have been a little unrefined, so I really just got to control the game and put it out. Then the final round, I went up against Enel, which is an instant loss for this deck. Enel is actually what's inspired a lot of the changes in this deck, that being the adding of Stussy and trying to just get more swings on the board so you can go for game. I still think Enel is an impossible matchup for this deck. It just kind of is how life gain ends up playing out. Yellow in general is just very, very hard for this deck to beat. But I think after the tournament, even though I only went 1 and 2, sorry, I believe I walked out of here with a much more comfortable understanding of where I think the deck sits. In its current state, unless I find some big breakthrough, I think this deck is just it just loses to too many meta decks. Like RP Law, these cards have 0 power. It is what it is. I think Lucci beats this deck as well. The new one. Enel, as I just said, I think is a literally unwinnable matchup. I don't even see how you could possibly win if the Enel player has a single brain cell, which is the average amount for an Enel player. It's just very brutal. I think the new Boa match, like, Boa is beatable, but they kind of have to not see, like, Gravity Blade, which, it's Boa. They're going to see the Gravity Blade. Doflamingo is in the very similar boat, except you just have to get your Celestial Dragons down faster. But, yeah, it's, I think all in all, the deck is a lot of fun, but it is just not strong enough. I'm going to keep cooking on it. I've got another local coming up on Tuesday to try to see if I can make something happen. And if I can, I will make another video on this. And if I can't, well, you might not hear back from the Celestial Dragon build until I make another breakthrough. So, But until then, either Tuesday or much later, I will see you shortly, and thank you so much for watching.